divisional game, 2, the storylines, and 3, new stadium opening up. Because we have the defending NFC North champions, the Minnesota Vikings, opening up the season in their brand new stadium at US Bank Stadium. They're back. They're finally back in their natural habitat in a dome. But they have quarterback issues. I mean, Minnesota has a great defense this year. Nice, strong defense. They still have Adrian Peterson in the backfield. But just the last practice of training camp, Teddy Bridgewater dislocates his kneecap, blows out his knee, tears his ACL, and he is done for the season, maybe the next 2 seasons. And so, what does Minnesota do? Oh, let's trade for that former Heisman. Oh. Come on, Lacey, you got to run to the left there. Former Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, #1 pick overall, Mr. Injury, Sam Bradford. So, and Sam Bradford didn't start last week, but I do believe he's going. I truly think he's going to start this week, because if Minnesota wants to win, not saying, I would say Sam Bradford's better than Shaun Hill, but oh, come on. I would say Minnesota will want Sam Bradford to start. I don't know how much of the playbook he's gone through, but if Minnesota really wants to win this game, I would say they have to start Sam Bradford. Now on the flip side, Green Bay last year they know it's like losing a key player in Jordy Nelson. This year they got him back. Week 1 against Jacksonville, Green Bay looked very, very sluggish on offense. Their defense run stop did great, but their passing defense did not do so hot. I mean, they let Jacksonville convert on like 7 or 8 fourth downs, and at least they stopped him on the one that mattered the most. But their offense is slowly getting there. It's not a well-oiled machine yet, and their defensive backs, it all depends on if they can are as good as they think they're going to be this year. And Green Bay finished 2nd in the North last year. This is oh, jeez, a semi-redemption match, you could say, for losing the NFC North last year. But hey, I'm not complaining as a huge Packer fan. I mean, Minnesota, they can go and play Arizona. They can go play Carolina. We'll take on Seattle. We'll take on Atlanta. But so those are the few reasons why I picked this game to be the game of the week. I think it's going to be a night. It's going to be hard hitting. Oh, jeez. I think this is being blown out of proportion just a little bit. But, recapping my picks from last week. Boy, oh boy, because of all those freaking close games, I went a miserable, subpar, decent 6-10. All those close games, I easily... No, okay, that's...
First down, here's a run with Peterson.
See, this is the only way if Minnesota wants to... Oh, I can almost guarantee you AP isn't going to run all over Green Bay like that, like he is right now. Okay? I can almost guarantee you. I know I'm a huge Packer fan, but it's hard for me to believe that. Now, if there's any other defense, I can see AP doing that. There's only a few defenses, I just can't see him. I mean, Tennessee's defense last week, they kept him under wrap last week. So Green Bay did great run stop defense last week. I just can't see AP running all over that. Now, a couple big bursts here and there, yes. So, but anyways, with all those close games, instead of going 6-10, I could have easily gone. I should recap this one. I'm just counting 2 possession game, or not 2 possessions, but 2 less than 2 points or whatever. 1, 2, 3.
Second down to the offense in search of 6 yards.
4, 5. So instead of 6-10, I could have easily been 11-5. But you know what? It's a long season ahead. That was only week 1. Like I said, first few weeks in the NFL now with how they rescheduled the reset up the training camp model. Teams are still being sluggish. Offenses are still not clicking. Because, honestly, I think it's easier for defenses to click together faster than offenses, especially with the no contacts and less pad practices and stuff like that. And we don't see too many big name players playing the preseason because of now. It just seems more than ever in the preseason. It's like we can't have our star players play in the preseason because they can get hurt. Because like what happened to Jordy, what happened like Calvin Benjamin last year, that was during preseason or training camp, but not actual game. But you know what? Injuries happen.
Now he's gone. Sean Hill's coming in. He's got to get
Oh my gosh. Blair Walsh made a field goal. Good thing it's only a video game. Heard he was having issues last week too, but yeah. Like I said, last week I went 6-10 my picks. Easily could have went 5-10 or 11-5, but you know, that's how the pendulum swings. But I will say one of my biggest mistakes last week is believing in the Los Angeles Rams. I was going to pick San Francisco to win that game. I don't know what I was thinking, but I decided to say, hey, you know what? LA's back. Let's pick them. And what happens? They get embarrassed. 28-0.
This is fielded a couple yards deep. They juked him.
Ooh.
And he's up past the 20 to the 22-yard line.
Come on, Green Bay. But I mean, week 1 was just action-packed, thrilling. So lots and lots of close games. That's what you want to see. But I think week 2 is going to be a different story. But let's take a look at the. Let's take a look at the week 2 matchups. Now, typically, I usually do this after game, but today's a little different, dealing with my scheduling and so forth. So I'm doing this simulation before the Thursday night game, where the NFL decided, hey, color rush uniforms. It's mandatory now, which I think is bull honky. And a little disappointed in my Green Bay Packers that they're going to be wearing all white for their color rush game. I wouldn't have no issue if they were the road team, but they're playing at home. They're hosting the Chicago Bears, one of their biggest all-time arch rivals. And Chicago's going to be wearing navy blue. But I just think the color rush schemes and so forth is stupid. I mean, why? Like, I can understand, okay, if it's optional, and both teams agree upon, fine and dandy. But try to make it mandatory, try to make Thursday night a thing. I'm not a big fan of Thursday night football. I love football, but if they're talking about health and player safety and so forth, leave the games on Sunday and Monday. Maybe Saturday in the late seasons or around the holidays. But the only time I want to see NFL on Thursday is Thanksgiving. But I know it's money, money, money. Anyways, let's take a look at the 16 games that we have lined up this week. Starting with the Thursday night game, the New York Jets at the Buffalo Bills. Then we move to Sunday. We got Baltimore at Cleveland, Tennessee at Detroit, Miami at New England, New Orleans at the New York Football Giants, Cincinnati at Pittsburgh, Dallas at Washington, San Francisco at Carolina, Kansas City at Houston, Seattle at Los Angeles, Tampa Bay at Arizona, Indianapolis at Denver, Atlanta at Oakland, Jacksonville at San Diego. The Sunday night game, which I am simulating right now, Green Bay at Minnesota, and the Monday night game, Philadelphia at Chicago. Couple good games right there. I mean, to some degree, kicking off week 2 action with the New York Jets and the Buffalo Bills isn't so bad. Both teams coming off week 1 disappointments. Jets should have won.
Now a first down carry, it's Lacy.
I shouldn't say should have. Should say could have won. Could have won against Cincinnati week 1. With the extra point move back to the 10-yard line now. And it's now like a 35-yard field goal attempt. Not a gimme anymore. Not a gimme at all. And so we see a lot of missed extra points, and that was one of the cases. Buffalo Bills, they lost a low-scoring game. I think it was 13-7 to Baltimore. So I mean, the Bills had a shot. Bills had a chance there. With this in-state rivalry. Well, I mean, the Jets do play in New Jersey. And we're going to have Christmas is coming early with these two teams. The gangrene and red. Oh, jeez. It's going to be one game hard to watch because of the jerseys. But I think the Jets are poised to bounce back, losing a close game to a good team in Cincinnati. Bills, on the other hand, don't know if Sammy Watkins, there's questions that he might not play. Ooh, plenty of time in the pocket. Oh, whatever. You can tell this is a video game because there's no way Rodgers would. But anyways, one of the main stories, Sammy Watkins is not sure if he's going to be playing tonight. It sounds like he's going to get the green light. He wants to play. Every player wants to play. There's no doubt about that. But it's just, is he's going to get cleared? I mean, short week is always tough. But I got to pick the New York Jets here. I think the Jets, they lost a close game. One stat I kept hearing about is how Ryan Fitzpatrick is only 1-10 against Rex Ryan when Rex Ryan is a coach and/or coordinator. So, and last year he was swept by the Bills. The Jets were swept by the Bills. If the Jets would have won Week 17 against the Bills, they would have been in the playoffs last year, but they lost. They missed the playoffs, and the rest is history.
short, though, with
So,
that marker.
and
So on now for the Packers as their
if
all-time leading scorer,
it's going to be
Mason
tough for
Crosby. That's
our,
from 44 yards away.
I mean, Rex Ryan, to some degree, he does need this victory against a
And
divisional
Crosby
rival,
puts it
but
through, and the drive will wind up yielding 3.
don't think it's going to happen
And the
this week.
field goal caps an
So,
11-play
my
drive.
money,
That's a lot of offense to
I'm
run
not
to
really a
only
betting
get
man,
3
but
points.
love
they'll
making
take 'em.
picks.
Anytime you can put anything on the board, you're
I'm
on
going
your
with the
sideline,
New York
somewhat
Jets.
happy.
Okay, Sunday's actions. We start with the old Browns versus the new Browns. Baltimore at Cleveland. And oh my goodness, the RG3 experience in Cleveland sounds like it is one and done. He is RG3. He got lit up while trying to run for the first down. And he has I forget if it's shoulder or rib, but anyways, he's placed on IR. I think he might be designated for a return, but now they got to go to Josh McCown. And last week they launched their what could have been their number 2 pick overall, and Carson Wentz destroyed them, and yet start the season with a loss. Baltimore, on the other hand, Baltimore, they got Joe Flacco back, and maybe not in smooth, but they did beat the Bills 13-7. I mean, they're back to their winning ways, you could say, and a potential try and make the playoffs back for the first time in 2 years. It's sad to say, but you know what? Cleveland? Just be glad. I'm sure I said this last week, and I'm sure I'll say it in the future. Just be glad you got LeBron James and the world champion Cleveland Cavaliers and the Cleveland Indians, who are going to make the playoffs, and maybe, you never know, maybe bring home a World Series championship for you this year too, and so you can forget about your Cleveland Browns.
On second down, Peterson.
Oh, jeez. 5 attempts for 52 yards. There's no. I'm going to be a little more critical in watching this simulation, but it's just a simulation. I just have to realize to myself it's just a simulation.
So here we go, 1st and 10 now.
I'm hoping whatever how Madden says it's gonna happen, I'm hoping it's the end result. But
now it's AP, Adrian Peterson.
But just a game. It's what happens on Sunday is what that's real, this ain't. So, but this is still fun to see what Madden thinks is gonna happen. But going back to picks, Baltimore, I got picked the old Browns, the Baltimore Ravens, over the new Browns, because Cleveland's not there yet. I mean, they need a quarterback. RG3, if he could stay healthy, could easily be that quarterback. Josh McCown is not the answer. I mean, they have 2 potential young upcoming wide receivers in Josh Gordon, and even with Terrell Pryor, I think they have another rookie they drafted. Name. Oh, see, that looks like Sam Bradford for sure. But I'm not sure what the guy's name is for Cleveland.
I think everyone in the stadium thought they'd try and run the football there, but they tried to surprise the defense and hit something through the air. Instead, it results in an
Baltimore, I think Baltimore's not quite rebuilding, but they're trying to get back to their glory days, put it that way. Ooh. Oh, that's an ugly kick. But this is almost a gimme. I would have to say Baltimore has to win by double digits. I mean, I know it's a divisional game, divisional rival, so you never know. You never know. It's in Cleveland. It's in the dog pound. The Browns might pull something out. Just I just don't see that happening. I mean, all I gotta say is all I gotta say is if Cleveland wants to have any success, they have to keep their coaching staff for at least 3-4 years, I would have to say, because one and done isn't going to happen. Isn't going to change anything. 2 years, 3 years, maybe after 3 years, but at the 3-year mark is about the only time you see stuff. You finally see.
And he's just going to get rid of this thing to no one here. He throws it away. And now it's third.
At the 3-year mark, that's about the time you start seeing things finally showing. But okay, Baltimore beats Cleveland easily. Detroit, Tennessee at Detroit, Tennessee. I don't know what happened. Don't know what happened there. Oh, baloney. Baloney. Blindside. It's possible.
I think this is where we see how the game has moved along a little bit.
But hey, this is one like I said, this is one reason why I picked this game. It's divisional rival. It's going to be heated. It's going to be tough. Green Bay is always a different team on the road. But
because with that amount of time from the free safety position, someone should break open.
Anyways, Tennessee at Detroit. Tennessee was up 10-0 at these Minnesota Vikings last week, and they end up losing to the Vikings 25-16. Well, it doesn't help when your quarterback throws. I do believe there was a pick six and then a fumble, return back for a touchdown. So that's why. I mean, you take those 14 points off the board. I think I heard Minnesota's offense did not score an offensive touchdown. Because let's see. Let's see the box score from that game. Yeah, Tennessee had a field goal, had a touchdown by DeMarco Murray, who I believe by the end of the season he's going to be back the way he was when he was his last year in Dallas. And with Derrick Henry, I keep hearing great things about him. I mean, these two could be a great tag team duo in the back, two-headed, demon in the backfield. But yeah, Blair Walsh had 1, 2, 3, 4 field goals, and Minnesota's 2 touchdowns were a fumble recovery and a pick six. So, I mean, Minnesota's offense still needs to prove they can score 6 points and not two field goals when it comes to 6 points. So, Tennessee, I mean, they hung in there against Minnesota, but the only reason why they lost is because they had the 2 miscues. If Tennessee, focus on running the ball with with Henry and Murray, they might have a decent turnout. But Detroit, how Detroit played last week against Indianapolis, I mean, there were some miscues. I think their kicker missed a field goal, missed an extra point, a crucial extra point near the end.
Maybe the quarterback, if he could have seen that, could have audibled there.
So,
he needed to be in a different play because that one just meshed perfectly for the defense.
I think Detroit is definitely on the rise. I mean, sure, they're Megatron-less, but taking on Indianapolis in Indianapolis,
here's Jeff Locke now.
He'll kick it away for the second time.
they have things going. I mean, ever since they got their new offensive. Oh!
This will be picked up now back inside the 40, and they're going to wind up with a
Wow, I don't see that happen too often in the Madden game is a block punt. That, to be all honest, I can see happening.
It's never good when you're punting the ball and your eyes see the ball.
But ever since Jim Bob Cooter, I don't know if there is a more southern hickish name than that in the NFL, but ever since Jim Bob Cooter took over as offensive coordinator, Detroit's only lost 2 games. And I think he took over halfway through the season last year in Week 8, and now they're like 7-2. Oh, there we go, Lacey. Woo! And Detroit, you know, Detroit's a division rival for me. And, like, I'll root for Detroit because they're a pathetic loser. But if it comes down between Green Bay and Detroit, obviously I'm going to pick Green Bay. Green Bay and Detroit do play each other at the end of the season in Detroit. And we all know what happened last year in Detroit when those two teams met. But getting back to Tennessee at Detroit, unless Henry and Murray decide to run all over the field, all over Detroit, I have to go with Detroit. Detroit's a home team. They are another up-and-coming team. They might finish second, maybe take a shot at their first division championship in 1990? Because as far as I can remember, Detroit has not won the NFC. They have never won the NFC North. They made the playoffs 2 times since the formation of the North, but you have to go back to last century for their last division crown, which I think was 1990 or not. No, not 90. Maybe 90. Early 90s. It's been a while. Ooh, Jordy. But Detroit over Tennessee easily, hands down. For me, it sounds like, you know. For me, it sounds like these sounds like confident picks. But if week 2 is anything like week 1, I could easily be in the dog pound again.
On first down, Rodgers.
Oh,
and his throw's going to be incomplete.
Come on.
Randall Cobb, the intended receiver, and that'll make it 2nd and 10.
Next game on the docket, Miami at New England, and I think people are being. I think most people in my mind are over dramatizing this. I mean, New England, who is Tom Brady-less, they were Gronk-less. They go into Arizona, and they squeak out a victory against the Arizona Cardinals. What was the final? 23-21. And ever since the NFL, NFL.com, ESPN, Yahoo, Sports Illustrated, whoever, have done, CBS Sports have done their power rankings like college. Oh, go for it. Go for it. Packers love to go for it. They just need 2 yards for a first down. New England, going to the power rankings, New England was like 4th or 5th, and like all of a sudden, boom, they're number 1 because they had their backup quarterback going into a hostile environment and beating a potential Super Bowl NFC champion Arizona Cardinals at their home turf, Week 1. Well, the only reason why New England won is because Arizona had a botch snap, botch hold, and the kicker kick to the left. So, I mean, Arizona easily could have won that game. I mean, New England got lucky. In my opinion, New England got lucky, but that's because of veteran coaching staff, veteran players, believe and hope, and it's Bill Belichick at his best. I mean, all honesty, he did coach the Cleveland Browns, but just imagine if he stayed in Cleveland. The Browns, well, this is before the Browns moved to Baltimore, but if Cleveland could easily be a dynasty, but he needed a little more. Bill Belichick needed more time to groom himself. Oh, excuse me. And now look, takes New England, has 4 world championships, and has just been dominating the AFC East since. And you take a look at the AFC East. I mean, Miami, New York Jets, Buffalo. Those three teams had greatest opportunity last week to get one step forward. Well, they all took one step back as usual. Your biggest and archest rivals in the New England Patriots have a shot to stumble the first 4 weeks without their first ballot Hall of Famer, Tom Brady. And what do you three do? 2 of you lost by 2 points or less. The other one loses by 6 points. It's like the best and greatest opportunity. And all 3 of them shoot themselves in the foot. I mean, Miami, Miami's taking on New England this week. Miami, they went to Seattle and lost by 2. They had the game-winning touchdown in their hands, and bobbled, and ball came out, and you gotta move on. You have to move on. So if Miami can play halfway decent in Seattle, one of the toughest place to play in the NFL in recent years, who says they can't go into Foxborough, take on a Brady-less offense, and dethrone the AFC East champions? I don't think that's going to happen this week. Miami is still trying to rebuild themselves. I mean, Miami, New York, and Buffalo, it's going to be some time. I mean, the Jets are the closest team to maybe surpass the Patriots because of last year, but
Again, Peterson. And he's brought down. That one goes for 16 yards. It sets
but
him up first and goal.
New England at home hosting divisional rival Miami. I'd be super shocked. I'd be surprised. I mean, I eat my own hat. If Miami could go into New England, even with Jimmy Garoppolo under center for New England, I'd be surprised if Miami went to New England and beat them. So I'm playing it safe. I got to pick the home team, the Patriots. So, like I said, New England over Miami. Enough said.
If I'm them, I'm thinking about going at it 4 straight times.
Next game, the New Orleans Saints versus the New York Football Giants. Oh, let's see how this play turns out first.
And this will result in him losing yardage back to the 3. It's a loss of 2, now 3rd down.
Ooh, crucial 3rd and goal.
Now on 3rd, do you go to
Close, no scoring game.
exists, and if you're doing it, you're probably
Oh, we'll see what happens here first, and I'll get to the Saints and the Giants. New York versus New Orleans.
And think about it being 4-down territory.
4-down territory, yeah, right. See who's in the backfield. They better have Peterson. I'll spread out. He's going to hand the ball up the middle. Hope we split out. Oh, nope. Oh. So Minnesota takes lead. But okay, moving on. New Orleans. I mean, I was shocked. I picked New Orleans over Oakland last week because they were at home. They easily could have had a shot to win, but just seems like New Orleans this year, they have no defense. They're going to be a high-scoring offense, but with a crappy defense and their opponents right there, in the game with them. I see more games like they had week 1 than against Oakland than, say, them holding on to a significant lead against good and upcoming teams like the New York Giants. I mean, the Saints, home, Superdome, losing to the Oakland Raiders. I mean, I know Oakland's an upcoming team. So, Saints are going to be taking a big step backwards this year until they can solve their defensive woes. I mean, the offense will be putting up points, but the defense will be giving up just as many. New York Giants, the New York Football Giants, they got away with one in Dallas, and thanks to a mental mistake of not running out of bounds, the Giants were able to survive the Dak Prescott debut. And the Giants are going to be a threat in the East. They might be, depending on how the Cowboys, depending on how the Giants play this year, they might have. No, I should. No, okay. Depending on how the Cowboys play. Depending on how the Cowboys play the rest of the season. I mean, week 1 they only lost by a point. They had, if their wide receiver, remember, to step out of bounds and give their kicker a shot to get the win. Cowboys would be 1-0, the Giants be 0-1, and the same old Giants is what we'd be saying.
So when they're sky kicking it and trying to keep them inside the 25, they're playing the percentage.
But
the farther you have to go to try and score, the better our odds of you not getting there and making a good play.
Damn right, that's how it's done. But Giants are 1-0. This is one where last year, like, if games had been 5 minutes early, they would have been like 10-6. And this go around, their defense held because of a mental mistake on Dallas's part. Giants are 1-0. They're in first place, tied with the Eagles in the East. And so, since they're the home team, since New Orleans does not have a defense, I have to go with the New York Football Giants. The Giants with McAdoo as head coach, former Packers coordinator, QB coach. But I think the Giants might see I think the Giants are going to see the postseason for the first time in 4 or 5 years. I think Giants fans will be so happy. No, I think the last time they made it'd be 5 years when they went to Super Bowl 46. But that don't want to talk about. So I gotta go with the New York Football Giants there. I can't see the Saints defense, but the Cowboys don't have a good defense, but they were in Dallas, so you gotta give a little bit to the home team. You always got to give a little more credit to the home team. So, Giants at home, I see him beating New Orleans. Now, this game next game, Cincinnati at Pittsburgh, I could have easily picked that one. Oh, I just noticed that the AFC North is playing each other this week. Oh, get rid of it, Rodgers. Oh. Yeah, whatever. Man will never get Aaron Rodgers right, because but Cincinnati at Pittsburgh, like I said, I could easily pick this one as my game of the week. Maybe the next time these two teams play, I might simulate that one. But Cincinnati, reigning AFC North champions. Pittsburgh, one of their arch rivals. Pittsburgh, they played on the Monday night game. They walked into Washington. They walked out as champions. Or if you were Antonio Brown, you twerked your way out of Washington. But I mean, Pittsburgh's just doing the same old thing. Defense and offense, we're all clicking. They just, I mean, what? They don't have Le'Veon Bell for the first 4 games. It doesn't matter because they got DeAngelo Williams. DeAngelo Williams was only one of 2 running backs to have over 100 yards rushing in week 1. God. So it's going to be a 4th and 8. They're going to have to kick a field goal, pull within 1. And it sounds like Green Bay. That sounds like Green Bay. Can't move the ball or can't convert and all that fun jazz.
So now the field goal unit tries for the 3rd time tonight. 2 minutes remain here in the first half. More from Minneapolis.
But Cincinnati, they went to New York. They start the season on 2 road games too. They went to New York. They snuck out a victory. AJ Green and Andy Dalton picked up right where they last left off. Andy Dalton healthy, so on and so forth. And let's see if Green Bay convert this field goal.
From the left hash, this from 34.
I don't see why.
And Crosby puts
it
and that gets him back.
Cincinnati, I feel Cincinnati is going to make the next step forward this year. I know they lost Marvin Jones. I think that's the wide receiver's name to Detroit in the offseason. But, you know, doesn't matter, don't care. Pittsburgh, I mean, their offense is young and old. Defense, I'm not sure how their defense is standing, to be all honest, because most names I recognize aren't there anymore, and like I have Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh's defense in one of my fantasy leagues, and I should have started them last week compared to Kansas City, who effed me in the A, but that's a different story for another day maybe. But I think when these two teams meet, Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, they don't hold anything back. Especially if any of you remember the wild card game from last year when Pac-Man Jones decided to knock out Antonio Brown. I mean, I can't lie. I was a little, can't lie. I mean, I was a little excited to see that happen, but it's still a dirty play. Not a big Antonio Brown fan. Don't care for his attitude and so forth, but he's obviously Antonio Brown's a very he has spunk. Put it that way. But I think this is going to be a big game. This is going to be determining who's going to win the AFC North down the road. And I think Cincinnati is going to go into Pittsburgh. They're going to take care of business and say, hey, Big Ben, DeAngelo, and company. We're the new dogs of the North. So we will. Cincinnati goes into Pittsburgh and gets the win.
Now it's third down. It's a tried
Ooh,
formula,
NFC
and I don't think
East
it'll change
matchup.
as long as we play football.
Dallas
If someone's trying to throw the ball,
Cowboys
and you can put pressure on them and
at
make it tough,
Washington
that's
Redskins.
only gonna help your defense.
Dak Prescott
gets
a chance for redemption on the road in the nation's capital. I mean,
Here's Bradford.
don't know if
And here's the first NFL catch for Laquan Treadwell.
don't know if
Conversion with
if
a gain of
if
28.
everything went if
I know many
if
people like to throw
Terrence
the tight end, maybe
Terrence
in a little
Williams, I
flex
think
down
the wide receiver
position
was,
because he creates
if he
mismatches
ran out of
with
bounds,
his
don't know
A
if
slot
Dan
receiver
Bailey
do the
could have
same
made
thing,
that field
but
goal
their
attempt.
quickness, their
Could have made
speed,
that field
and
goal,
their
I should say.
route running savvy.
But I mean, would put him in a situation to at least try. And since he decided to run inbounds, time runs out. New York won. Dallas is 0-1. But hey, that's not entirely Prescott's fault. I mean, you can't tell me if Tony Romo was in that game, it'd be a different story. You just don't know.
Bradford now to throw on first down. The throw left side complete to Treadwell.
So
It'll be a 3-yard gain. And
Dallas
they'll make it
is,
second
they have a
down.
little
Now, this
cloud
is
over their
coming
head,
in. We're gonna get a
hang their
timeout
heads.
here by the
So
offense.
close, so close, so
It's
close.
just
But you
their
know
first,
what?
so they'll have 2 remaining here
You gotta have
before we get to
short-term
halftime.
memory in the NFL. Speaking of short-term memory, Washington better have short-term memory because they just got destroyed and manhandled by Pittsburgh on Monday night. And their new cornerback, Josh Norman, how did he do? He only lined up against Antonio Brown, what, twice? Because, he only plays on the left side of the ball. He doesn't play
Second and 7.
certain wide receivers. And, I mean, you got a left cornerback and you got a right cornerback. But yet you should all know the plays and know what you're doing.
He's got time in the pocket. Oh,
That should have been a
throws there,
fumble.
incomplete. The intended receiver was Laquan
But,
Treadwell. And they're going to have a third down.
Dallas, Washington,
Credit there.
big
Hop up in the
NFC
air and
East
bat that
matchup.
one away. And
One
that's
team
frustrating
should
for an
hope,
offensive
unless
lineman
it
because
ends in a tie,
their
which,
only recourse is
oh,
when he goes
hate
in the air and
ties.
try and give some
Hate
type
them.
of a pop or a shove, hoping to
But,
bring his arms down.
So third and 7.
unless this ends in a tie, someone's
on the
going to get
field
their
here.
first win of the season.
Definitely wanted to play coverage
And
To throw
I would
is
have to-
Bradford. And Rudolph has it left side.
I would have to pick,
And they'll go down here at the 35-yard line.
come on, I would think Green Bay would call a timeout.
That's going to bring up a fourth down.
He wasn't the
Oh,
primary
whatever.
target, but I think it was
Men's
almost
being
like
men.
a check down situation, wasn't it?
But
hoping he can break
I
some
gotta pick.
tackles, a big
I gotta go
tight
with
end, but he
Dallas.
couldn't do it.
Yeah, against
Dallas,
that big frame,
rebounds,
hope he can scatter
Dak
some bodies,
Prescott,
unable to get it done.
And I think Ezekiel Elliott. He considered himself. He was normal, and he wants to be more than just average or normal.
And that one's not going to get there. Not enough juice. An
What?
ambitious effort,
Blair
but it's one
Walsh?
short. And this score will stay right
And see,
where
that
it
was
is.
would have been
That's the risk
a
of
52-yard
long
field goal.
miss here at
Blair
this stage of
Walsh,
the second
he's
quarter. You
known
give
for
up great
making
field
those
position.
long field goal attempts and known for missing chip shots.
To make something happen and something big, and we've seen crazy stuff happen.
Oh,
at
let's
the
see
end of
what
the
Green
half.
Bay does with 10 seconds left in the half. With all 3 timeouts and down by 1. They'll probably just line up victory formation, take a knee, and head to halftime. But Washington, Dallas, I think, like I said, my money's on Dallas. I think Washington is taking a step back. Even knowing they don't have Tony Romo, I think Dallas is going to win the NFC East this year. It's like I said, long season. They got 15 more games to play. So, Dallas is my pick over Washington. And like I was saying before, with short-term memory, in our next game. Oh no, it's not our next game. Oh no, that's somewhere down the road. But 1 second left. 1 second left.
And that's going to bring up a third down.
If there was a stat on Hail Marys, Rodgers should be 99.
and bats it away.
But we move on to the San Francisco at Carolina. San Francisco, they start the season, you know, I don't know if you could start the season any better way than they did, with a shutout of a divisional rival, 28-0. Oh yeah, intercepted. Yay, halftime. But
we'll be back after this. You're watching
San Francisco, they kicked off their season yet again on Monday Night Football against a divisional rival, and the Chip Kelly era in San Francisco starts off easily, and they are 1-0 with a 28-0 victory. On the other side, the defending NFC South, NFC champions, Carolina, who just barely lost against Denver. They could have, I do think, should have won against Denver in the season opener. Cam Newton, let's get that ticker going. See how many times he gets clocked in the head and people no flags being thrown, and how many times he gets up. But Carolina 0-1, San Francisco 1-0. Carolina being the home team. I mean, and that's a noon game too. I mean, San Francisco just got done playing a Monday night game. They have a short week. They got to turn around and have to go to the East Coast with a 3-hour time difference of playing against the current NFC champions, defending NFC champions, Carolina. I just don't see San Francisco going into Charlotte, North Kakalaka, Carolina, and dethroning the Panthers. And Carolina's defense will be all over San Fran. Carolina's offense, Newton's going to be running up and down the field, getting hit in the head, and nothing being called. I mean, unless Chip Kelly's offense somehow just wows and amazes, and just like Blaine Gabbert decides to run all over, can somehow run all over, and they just exhaust Carolina. I would be shocked if San Francisco can pull away with the upset, and two, if they can, win by double digits. But you know what? Carolina, they've had 10 days of rest. Oh, and that's the other thing. San Francisco had a short week. Carolina, they've had an extended week, basically. So, whoever makes the NFL schedule, they did not give San Fran any benefits of the doubt, put it that way. But Carolina bounces back. They get a win. They get back on their winning ways. San Francisco, reality check more or less, in my opinion. Reality check sets in. They drop to 1-1, and that's okay. They're 1-1. They still can control their destiny. Kansas City at Houston. Kansas City last week, oh my gosh, somehow survived the division rivals of the San Diego Chargers, come back, force overtime, and win it in overtime. That troubles me some, but what's against a divisional rival? Every time you play a divisional rival, home or away, it's always a different game.
They won, but the other three teams in the AFCs all lost. Only week one, but It's just looking like
It's
the same old division.
Feels very
it's
familiar,
always
doesn't it, in the AFC East. Well, let's go to the AFC North. Cincinnati, which has been dominating that division
it's always a
in
different
recent
story.
years.
It's always something
Disappointing
different
end to their season last year in the
when you
playoffs
take on
against
divisional
Pittsburgh.
rival because they know you the best. They study you almost 24/7.
But certainly appeared that way. A huge win on
And
the road, week
that's
1
why
at the New York Jets, who are going to be a
it's a
contender
little
for a playoff spot.
troubling some, but
In recent years,
San
the slot
Diego
receivers really gained stature in the NFL because they could do so
could have
many
walked
things.
into Kansas City
Yes, they can
and
line
walked
up
out as
wide like your normal wide
champions
receiver,
with a victory, but
have
no,
that kind of courage and
Kansas City
toughness from
somehow,
the middle
yes,
of the field to
they
become
they
dependable
breathe
targets for
a
their
sigh of
quarterbacks
relief. They
and
get
move
the win. They're
sticks.
1-0,
Those guys are worth their weight in gold.
and they're tied for first place in the West.
From the gun on third down.
Houston,
Dump down to McKinnon. And he'll be
they
taken down
took
at
care
the
of
46-yard
Chicago
line.
week 1.
It'll be a gain
Yeah,
of
it
4,
will.
and that'll
They
bring
won
up
by
third
9
down.
points.
So much about offense is what you call hidden yardage.
They won,
You know,
yeah, they
you
won by
throw the
9
ball to
points, but you know
someone,
they
catch
took
it,
care of
and then they
the
can make a
Bears,
big play. You know, they create
just
a
like
play,
flipping a
yard after
pancake.
catch. They did
But
a
this
really
is
nice job
also a
of limiting
rematch
that and keeping them from a
of
first
the
down.
wild
Stopped him
card
in his
game
tracks.
in the against Kansas City and Houston, where Kansas City blanked
He
Houston.
gets it away, a
And
directional
humiliated
kick going
them.
to the sideline. And no return here.
So
Where will they
Houston,
spot it? They say
well,
just
Houston didn't really
outside
have a
the
quarterback
20-yard
last year.
line.
Didn't really have an offense last year. They had defense. They somehow won the miserable AFC South last year. Somebody had to win it. They just got more wins. But they apparently have a quarterback now, Brock Osweiler. They have a couple good wide receivers with DeAndre Hopkins and Fuller.
Again, we'll see the pistol
And their
here.
defense, J.J. Watt and company. Do I have to say more?
Begin the drive with Lacy. And he will
So,
find his way forward to about the 23-yard
This one,
line.
I'm leaning towards Kansas City.
So it's 2nd and 9.
I'm leaning towards Kansas City, but I might flip-flop. But you know what? I'm going to stay with Kansas City. I think Kansas City, two great defenses right here. I think what hurt Kansas City a lot is not having Houston. I think he's on the PUP list. Don't quote me on this,
Second down, here's Rodgers.
but I'm just telling you what
He's
I
got
remember.
time. And that one goes incomplete. He's maybe lucky it wasn't a fumble as he got hit as he threw it. A pretty good coverage
Wow.
there. And both of these defenses, they've had good coverage throughout this.
But
No doubt about it. And in today's
I gotta lean
NFL,
towards
used to a
Kansas
bit
City
more
here.
scoring.
They
This
might
feels almost like a
they might have
well-pitched game
played
in
a close
baseball on
game
both sides, where the
against
tension
divisional
continues
rival,
to
but I
build.
think
Who's gonna make
they're
the
going
big
to be
play?
a little more focused. They go back into Houston, and they're going to give Houston some problems.
Rodgers on third down. Out in the
There we
flat
go.
to start. Whoosh.
Oh!
And he will have a first down here at about the 40.
But
17 yards
Houston-
on the pickup there. The
Houston
drive
will give
continue. It's a first down.
AFC South a run for
So
their
many
money.
times you hear today's NFL described as a
I
space
think-
game. Get your best
Yeah, I do
players
have
into
them winning the
space with the
AFC
football in their
AFC
hands.
South.
That's why sometimes
So,
you swing it out to
but
your runner, get him
I gotta
out
go
in
with
the
Kansas
flat,
City.
and let him
Kansas
have a
City,
chance to make
they
people
will
miss an open field.
they'll get back on track. Not close. Not an overtime game. It won't go in overtime, no. But the game that people in Los Angeles have been waiting for 20 years
On first down,
and
Rodgers.
1 week.
Abradaris with it over the middle. And he's brought down
The
after a
Seattle
good game.
Seahawks
23 yards
play their
on the
first
play.
game in Los Angeles since I don't know. Don't have that stat on me right now. But Los Angeles is going to be hosting their first home game in 20 years and 1 week or so. But how the Los Angeles Rams, you can take the Rams out of St. Louis, but you can't take the St. Louis out of the Rams or something like that. Oh, the Rams, this team that's supposed to be potential upstarts. They have the #1 pick overall who was inactive. They play a divisional rival
And this
who's
has been a recurring theme tonight for sure. Nowhere to run.
who's
Scrimmage, that's all. Now whistles and a
who's
timeout. Looks like
on
we're gonna fight
an
game
up and
slow.
down,
While the
and
training
you
staff
go
works
into their
on
home
it.
turf
We'll step
and
aside
you
and be
get
right back.
shut out 28-0 in the season opener. That's not a great way to start the season. That's not a good way to start the season. But like I said before earlier, divisional rival games are always 10 times different against playing a conference opponent or interconference opponent, because your divisional rivals, they know you inside out. So maybe it's a fluke, but yet Los Angeles, the Rams, they're taking on yet another divisional opponent in the Seattle Seahawks. But the Seahawks, they're a 10 times different team on the road. But to them, to some degree, this is not quite a neutral site game, because there will be, I'm sure there's going to be some Rams fans in that 100,000 seat Coliseum. So, and I'm sure there's going to be some Seahawks fans. But Seattle, like they normally do, they somehow pull out a victory, 12-10 over Miami at home. It's like Seattle get beat up, and all of a sudden, like, Russell Wilson comes out of nowhere and leads them to the promised land. But yet, Wilson has a tweaked ankle, so we don't know the status on Russell Wilson. It'll be very interesting how much that ankle is going to be affecting Wilson. I'm not sure who their backup is, but I mean, I'm going to say this first. I'm picking Seattle to win against Los Angeles. But if they target Wilson, and if Wilson can't throw, Los Angeles might be, turn 180 and be like, holy crap, yay, football's back in Los Angeles and we won, yay, victory again, yay. But if Wilson can move on that ankle, it's going to be all Seattle. But I do believe the Rams beat Seattle twice last year, at St. Louis and at Seattle. So I mean, the Rams know what it takes to beat the Seahawks. Oh. Well, they kick another field goal and they got a 2-point lead.
One hallmark of good defenses is understanding the game, understanding positioning, and tackling immediately in the secondary.
Seattle, and I don't know, everyone thinks, everybody, all these football analysts, so forth and so on, think Seattle is one of the top 4 teams in the NFC with the Cardinals, Panthers, and Packers. But I think ever since their Super Bowl loss, they're more on the downside than the upside. But that just might be a little bias on my behalf, but that's what I just believe. I mean, opinions are always biased one way or another. That's why they're your opinions. But I just don't see Seattle on, being an elite team this year. I mean, if their 12-10 victory over Miami is indication for anything, you can't really judge the season on the first week. There's 16 more weeks, and they play 15 more games. So we'll see, and that goes true for Los Angeles as well. Ooh, nice kick, nice kick. Next game on the docket. Tampa Bay at Arizona. And what's this? Tampa Bay is 1-0. Arizona is 0-1. Well, I don't think Arizona is going to be too heavy. I am really surprised how Tampa Bay is doing, how they played against their divisional rival in Atlanta last week. All over them, and But Atlanta,
Here's Peterson as they begin on the ground.
I mean, Atlanta's on the downside, Tampa Bay's on the rise. So, I mean, going back looking at my NFL standing previews, I mean, I should have had those two teams flipped around. But,
so what will they do on the ground? Let's see, 2nd and 9.
Tampa Bay, red hot, young offense. Jameis Winston, I mean, he could easily be, he might walk away with a Super Bowl. Only time will tell. But Tampa Bay, this will be a true road test for Tampa Bay to see how legit Tampa Bay is, and if they can walk away with a victory in the desert. Carolina has to be watching, because this just might be the team to dethrone the 5-time NFC South champions. And Arizona's just reeling from last week. I mean, they were a field goal away from a victory. They missed it. I forget what Bruce Arians said in his post-game interview, but Arizona is, they run again on first down. Arizona is a good team. I would have loved to see them win the Super Bowl back against the Steelers in Super Bowl 43, but that's in the past. They're talking about now. They gotta win now, and they need to do it now. This is their best opportunity. Carson Palmer, old in the dirt. Larry Fitzgerald, just as old, but you know what? They still can get it done. They have a great young running back in David Johnson, and they can. I mean, but I have to go. If anything, this is my upset game of the week. I don't think Arizona's the wheel. It's like, oh, woe is us. We got beat by Tom Brady's backup against Jimmy Garoppolo and Gronkowski. I mean, the Garrett Blunt was running all over. Their defense, Arizona's defense. But like I said, this is going to be an upset. I gotta pick Tampa Bay over Arizona in the desert. This one, if anything, I can see me losing. But hey, as long as my other picks, turn out just fine, then I'm willing to take one loss. But Tampa Bay over Arizona in Arizona, upset. Okay. Indianapolis at Denver. The defending Super Bowl champions take on a Andrew Luck, not so lucky Colts.
And in today's day and age, settling for a field goal of that distance is amazing. You can get 3
Indianapolis.
Where it's going to give you only 1 point.
Indianapolis is still ruling. I don't know what's happening in Indianapolis. I think Andrew Luck can be a Super Bowl elite caliber quarterback, but he needs to stay healthy and they gotta stay focused. I mean, last week they did not do time management so well, because they left 40 seconds on the clock for Detroit to march down the field and get the victory. Another handoff. Hey, Green Bay, it's not the fourth quarter yet. You got to pass the ball.
Well, on that play, the expression, don't blink, you might miss something, certainly applied. That was fast. Defense diagnosed the play, and it was over in a heartbeat.
Third down at 8 now.
Let's back up. That does not help
Throwing is
me.
Rodgers on third down.
Ooh, deep pass. Oh, wide open, Cobb. That's a touchdown. That's how it's done. That's what's going to happen on Sunday night.
68 yards. And the Packers add on to their lead. And I think I saw that right. You tell me if I'm wrong. That was just a fly route, just to go. He went.
But
Sometimes
get back,
speed, just
Denver.
pure speed is going
I
to
mean,
win. I don't care how athletic
they
you
didn't
are on the
have-
other side
they
of the
didn't-
ball. When a guy's that
They had
fast
3
and he
rushing
can just take
touchdowns.
off, if a quarterback has
They had
time
3
to throw
rushing
the ball and
touchdowns
release
last
it,
week
when he
against
wants to, that's the
Carolina.
end result. Nothing you can
Still
do
looking
about
for their
that.
first
He was
passing
just a
touchdown.
better
Trevor
athlete on
Simeon
that play.
under
Always
center.
Mason Crosby for the point after.
Up and good.
And that makes it a 9-point
And
game.
Denver's defense. If Denver, reclaims the West, makes it to the playoffs again, it's going to be through their defense. Offense will just score enough points to get them to where they need to be. Indianapolis, tough loss. They should have won if they controlled the clock right. They have 15 more games, like I keep saying. There's still 15 more games for everybody. But the loss to Detroit hurts because it was against their former coach. And Chuck Pagano, I mean, I think it was last year, a stupid play against the Patriots. I mean, they have to get their act together if they really want to be a playoff caliber team. And hey, they go into Denver. If they can go into Denver, take care of the Broncos, if they can score 35 points again, I mean, if they played Denver last week, they would have won 35 to 21. So, but I think defending Super Bowl champions they're on the Rocky Mountain High. I mean, their defense is going to pick apart Andrew Luck. And Denver, with Von Miller and company, says, hi, Luck. It's not your lucky day. Or hi, Andrew. It's not your lucky day. Whatever. But Denver over Indianapolis. Take that in a heartbeat. If the Colts were a little more, if this was a few games into the season, maybe. But gotta go with defending Super Bowl champions. That defense. Defense will determine winners in the first few weeks. As we get to the next month or so, it's going to be the offense. Because, like I said before, training camp, less contact in training camp, less starters playing in the preseason. I feel defenses are more likely to thrive than the offenses clicking. But Denver over Indianapolis. Atlanta at Oakland. And what a gutsy play by Oakland last week over New Orleans in the Superdome. I mean, you got to make those, that game against New Orleans with Oakland, that might determine a playoff win, making the playoffs or not. So, getting that win over New Orleans, big boost for Oakland. Oakland, young offense. They have things going for them. The Silver and Black might see their first playoff action since I think it's been 2002. First time since. So many familiar names might be making the playoffs for the first time in a long time. Atlanta, ever since going 5-0 last year, or 6-1, I mean, Atlanta's been they've been a plain disaster. The fallen, just crash and burn. I mean, I don't know. I want to say, Julio Jones and Matty Ice, Matt Ryan, they have good offensive weapons. So it just might be their defense. And who's their head coach? I do believe it was the former defensive coordinator for Seattle. And can't you make the transition, Atlanta? I mean, how do you go 5-0, 6-1, start the season last year, and just roll into the end? Oh, good. And just crash and burn. I mean, you start the season at home, hosting division rival Tampa Bay, and you let Tampa Bay walk all over you. I mean, yeah, sure, you only lost by 7. You only lost by a touchdown, but still, you gave up 31 points. Now you gotta go to the black hole out in Oakland and take on those Raiders, the Oakland Raiders. And the Raiders are on the rise. You're on the downfall. And with Tampa Bay on the rise in the South, the defending NFC champions in the South, Atlanta, New Orleans, you two teams, you're going to have a tough time of trying to bounce back this year. And if Oakland is one of those teams on the rise and hard to beat, I mean, yeah, they snuck out a victory in New Orleans, but hey, when you're the home team, all the momentum's on your side.
We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports.
All the momentum's on your side when you're home. At least you would hope. So, Oakland on the rise. Oakland at home at the Coliseum, in the Oakland Coliseum, Athletic Coliseum, whatever name it is, whatever they want to call it this day and age. But Oakland taking on Atlanta, I gotta go with the Raiders. The Raiders would beat the Oakland over Atlanta. So, yeah, enough said. Ooh, Jacksonville at San Diego. This is a tough one. This is another one I could have done game of the week.
And in this situation with the lead fourth quarter, they're keeping the ball on the ground, I'm sure.
It's just smart football, but the defense has to know it as well. They've got to stop them here.
I mean, Jacksonville on my beloved Green Bay Packers last week. Jacksonville was the home team. They almost took care of business. Full hunky right there. But Jacksonville, the home team, almost took care of my Green Bay Packers. Almost. I mean, they could barely move the ball on the ground, but they were able to move the ball through the air plenty of times. San Diego, they went to Kansas City. They had the lead. They gave it up. They went into overtime and lost. And that's the thing with San Diego. They lost too many close games last year. Jacksonville, they're a team on the rise. Jacksonville's a team on the rise. I do have them making the playoffs this year as a wild card team. But this is a tough one. Because both teams, like I feel sorry for San Diego because they're crap. But yet they have I was so glad to see Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon getting a couple touchdowns. Hopefully he can hopefully he can run over 100 yards or plus, get their offense going rushing wise. Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, there we go. I mean, huge Packer fan, Wisconsin Badger fan. Love to see Melvin Gordon. I hope Melvin Gordon has a successful NFL career. Long, and so forth. But this is a tough game, really. I see either team winning. I mean, Jacksonville has a great offense. With Bortles under center, he can, in 5 years, he might be a Super Bowl champion. You don't know. We could be considering him elite as some of the other ones, big name stars, start retiring, and just him getting better and better and better year in, year out. San Diego. I mean, you still got Phillip Rivers, you still got Antonio Gates.
It looked like they had something there, but I think that he was thinking about running
but
the football.
Yes, you're the home team. But if Jacksonville wants to make a statement, they missed their opportunity last week against the Green Bay Packers. I mean, I gotta go with Jacksonville.
They go play action. Now Bradford. He's got time in the pocket. And incomplete.
That sounds about right. I mean, Jacksonville, if I believe that Jacksonville is going to be moving up this year, they gotta get a win sooner or later. So why not against San Diego? San Diego, little disappointment, probably going to finish in the basement again in the West, especially how Broncos defense, Oakland on the rise, Kansas City with Andy Reid as the head coach. Where does that leave San Diego? Leave San Diego in the basement and start the season 0-2. So Jacksonville, you will get your victory, your first victory. Go 1-1, and think then you'd be tied for the in the AFC South. But we move to the Sunday night game, the game of the week, the game you are watching right now. Right now, Green Bay's up 19-10 with 13-13 left in the game. And for the most part, any of you watching out there and hearing how, where I'm leaning towards. But, I mean, oh, lovely catch. I mean, that's a potential, score 19-10. I mean, last week Green Bay's offense wasn't in full swing, wasn't high power, but it's because of how the preseason works now. The offense, yeah, they practice every single day with each other, blah blah blah. I mean, still trying to just get connected with Jordy. I mean, yeah, sure, in the video game you don't miss a beat. In real life, it's months and weeks of preparation, getting back healthy and so forth, and now seeing Jordy Nelson back on the field, it was so nice seeing him get that touchdown. And I mean, what an amazing throw from Rodgers to Adams at the end of the first half. I mean, that's just Aaron Rodgers for you. I mean, I could talk all day about my beloved Green Bay Packers, but that's neither here or later. You have to watch maybe my other videos and where I'm drooling all over the Packers. Ooh! He took a licking. But I think after a few weeks, the Packers offense will get become that well-oiled machine. It sucks that the Packers have a bye in week 4, but that might be a plus thing down the road.
And he'll keep it moving down to the 15-yard line. 9 yards is
I mean,
there, and they'll have a second
also Green Bay's rush defense was great last week, stopping T.J. Yeldon to 39 yards rushing. It did seem like he was rushing all over the defense, all over us, but it was their pass coverage. I mean, they got an early interception in the game, but that was because the ball got deflected and so forth.
Rodgers to throw on second down.
Oh, he would have got rid of the ball, but that's, whatever. they're these corners. I mean, Sam Shields, he suffered concussion last week. Hopefully he's healthy for the game on Sunday.
Give anybody a chance to get up there and stop him.
But their cornerbacks need to. I don't know if they're man-to-man or coverage, but like I said, they gave up 7 or 8 first downs on 4th down conversions, and it wasn't like 4th and 10, 4th and 7. I think it was more like 4th and 5s and all that, but they just got enough yards.
Throwing is Rodgers on 3rd down. Caught by Nelson left side.
Oh, yes. Now what's the flag? So, if anything concerns me, it's the Packers secondary, which is supposed to be making a... Yeah, that's right. I mean, making a big stride this year. And week 1, didn't see it, but, like I keep saying, there's 16 weeks, 15 more games. You improve, hopefully you improve week by week. Minnesota, on the other hand, they have, like I said, against Tennessee, 2 defensive touchdowns, a pick 6 and a fumble recovery for a touchdown. Their offense did not score a single touchdown. They kicked 4 field goals. There we go. That's right. So that brings questions. I mean, the other big question is who's starting at quarterback. I say Sam Bradford. Madden says Sam Bradford. I went with Sam Bradford. I think, like I keep hearing on all the sports shows, like, they're not going to say they're trying to psych the Packers out. Well, but I mean, the players would have to know who's oh, geez. Now that was more like Rodgers, but this is probably coming back. It's probably coming back, and they'll probably kick an extra point instead. Decline. You can't tell me Green Bay is going to still try for 2. They don't need to try for 2. But
so the decision is they'll go again for 2, but this
whatever.
From the 12.
Whatever. But you can't tell me that somebody's taking more snaps under center. You can't tell me they're both equally taking snaps. If anything, if Sam Bradford's going to be your quarterback, you trade for him. If anyone's going to be under center, it's going to be Sam Bradford's going to be under center more often than Shaun Hill. Because if he's going to be your quarterback, he's still learning the playbook. You can't tell me that Hill is going to start Sunday if Bradford, you can tell me, but I think if Minnesota wants to win, wants to beat Green Bay, they have to play Sam Bradford. If they're still uncertain and want to play conservative and wait until later on, taking one step at a time, they would play Shaun Hill. Now I can see one or the other say they start Shaun Hill, then put in Bradford, or vice versa, but Minnesota will have to rely on their running game. And if Green Bay stops Adrian Peterson, then they have to start throwing it. And if Green Bay's up 25-10 with 9.5 minutes left in the game, they're going to have to start throwing the ball. Yeah, they can still run it. Maybe do little screens too as well. Oh, face mask on the kicking team. Yeah, whatever. So, obviously, I'm picking Green Bay. It's hard. It's going to be hard for me not to pick Green Bay in this one for sure. But I think Green Bay can win by at least 10 points. Not to sound a little biased or anything, but it is what it is. I'm going to show my colors when it comes to the Green Bay Packers. Truthful, honest. Let's see. And then that brings us to the Monday night game. We have Philadelphia Eagles, led by the number 2 pick overall, Carson Wentz, against the Chicago Bears. The Bears at Soldier Field with their new left guard, Josh Sitton, and quarterback Jay Cutler. Ooh. This, I mean, Chicago, they lost. They lost against Houston last week. They had, you know, good opportunity, but they were the only NFC North team to lose, while the Houston Texans were the only AFC South team to win. Philly, well, I mean, Carson Wentz got an easy opponent last week, taking on the Cleveland Browns, and you know the Doug Peterson era in Philly as a coach, you know, started with a victory. So Doug Peterson's officially 1-0 as a head coach. Good for him. Former backup to legendary Green Bay Packers quarterback Brett Favre. So I'm happy for them. This might be one of the few times I'll actually root for Philadelphia because of their head coach. Otherwise, I'm not a big Philly fan. Chicago, I don't know where they're at. I would thought when they got John Fox, things are going to flip around for them. And
So here we go, 1st and 10 now.
Still haven't seen that happen yet. So this would be a big tough road test for Philly, in all honesty, because of Carson Wentz as the rookie. I mean, but I will have to go with Philadelphia in this one. I mean, Chicago as the home team, I think Chicago should win, but Philly is a little more there. Chicago, not quite. Don't know what Chicago can or could be. Wow. Leave them wide open. Don't quite know what Chicago is going to be. They might show some as the season comes on, but I think this is going to be a close one, a tough close game between the two teams. It may come down to a field goal or something, or hey, you never know. Maybe Jay Cutler is just dropping dimes left and right. So, but I gotta go with Philly in this one. So those are my picks for week 2. I mean, I'm hoping I can turn it around from starting the season 6-10. I'm hoping I can go for a perfect 16-0, but that doesn't always happen. I love making picks, explaining why, obviously. So we'll see what happens. Now we get the last 5:40 left in this game. I think week two of the NFL is not going to be as thrilling as week 1 with all the close games. I'm pretty sure we're going to get a few more blowouts, a few more double-digit wins. But now let's see. If I had to pick my top 5 games for week 2, obviously right here, this is number 1 on my agenda. But that's not because the Packers are playing it. It's going to be a great game, Sunday night game.
saw that indeed, picking up the first.
Cincinnati, Pittsburgh. That's going to be a good game to keep an eye on. All honesty, Jacksonville, San Diego, I think is going to be a good game. That might be a close one. Throw in Los Angeles, Seattle there. See how the Rams can do in week 2 of back in LA in their first home game in over 20 years or so. New England, Miami. I think it's going to be a good one. Can the Garoppolo experience continue and show that, hey, we don't need Tom Brady because I'm Garoppolo.
From our vantage point, that was just one bad play by the offensive line.
So,
a series of really good ones tonight.
Those 5 games, what I said: Green Bay, Minnesota, Jacksonville at San Diego, Seattle at Los Angeles, Miami at New England. Oh, that's only 4. Oh, and Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. That's always get him. He got him. Ooh, now here's the question. Here is the question. Does Minnesota go for it? I almost think they have to. I mean, they kick a field goal. They're still down by 12. It's a 2-possession game. So I think Minnesota has to go for it on 4th and goal at the 12-yard line. But no, here comes Blair Walsh.
They're going to go for the 6 here on 4th and goal.
Oh, they do go for it. Man. Oh, of course he connects. I hate they showed Blair Walsh. And I turn away for 1 second. I turn again. Oh, they're going for it on 4th down.
And the Vikings are able to cut into that deficit. Boy, what a job there. 4th down that far away from the end zone just to get it in, get that done.
An unlikely result, but it occurred nonetheless. But a terrific play. Great way to finish and in the end zone.
And the defense has to be scratching their heads, right?
So, and no, they don't necessarily. But we got 3:27 left.
As this gets them back within a touchdown and a 2-point conversion.
Yeah, that's the thing. Touchdown and 2-point conversion. And it's good. 3:27 left in the game. Green Bay still has a 8-point lead. Minnesota will probably kick it off deep. I don't see them onside kick. I don't see the point.
And so we have the touchdown. Now here's Blair Walsh to kick this one away. Now it's
that's the great debate now. Is the new touchback rules in the NFL. I think it's ridiculous. They're doing the college way of if you take the knee, the ball is out to the 25. Well, in the game I was watching between Green Bay and Jacksonville last week, they kept kicking it out of the end zone left and right. And, you know, you're going to see that a lot. And especially if it's a little windy, it's just going to fly through the end zone. Now, there were a handful of games, especially the one on Sunday night, when New England took the lead with about 4 minutes something left. Janikowski, their kicker, whatever his name is, I'm not good with names. You know, he pooched it high and deep in the air. And the returner catches it about a yard or 2 deep in the end zone. And you got to take it out. You won't have momentum to take a knee. And you have to take it out, and he only got to the 10-yard line. That's what kickers are going to be doing now, especially late in games. There's no way they're going to kick it deep through the end zone. It's like, oh, you got to get the ball at the 25 now. Ooh, good handoff. Oh, Lacy. But anyways, it's like they want more safety on kickoffs. And putting the ball at the 25 instead, taking a knee. If you take a knee, the ball is at 25. It's just more or less like Roger Goodell just wants kickoffs eliminated, and then it's pointless. Then you'll never have those onside kicks unless they make a rule about it. Stay in bounds, Lacy. If they make a rule saying, if you're within 2 possessions, 14 points or less or whatever, you can attempt an onside kick. Otherwise, if you win the beginning of each half and after every point scored, you start the ball at the 10-yard at your own 10-yard line. Because that, if you eliminate the kickoffs, in my opinion, you have to start farther deep in your end zone. Can't start at 25 because that's 75 yards you gotta go. 20, typical, that'd be 80. But I think you have to go at least 90 yards if you want a touchdown then. So I hope they don't get rid of the kickoffs. It's part of the game. It's just what makes the game so much interesting, and you won't have your surprise onside kicks anymore, which which is just part of the game. And it's so fun to exciting. I know health and safeties and so on and so forth, but we see that Minnesota takes their first time out after 2-minute warning because Eddie Lacy just plows his way for a first down.
The defense, they got a little bit of a breather. Now they're back and set as we resume play.
Ooh. So right now, 25-17, Green Bay over Minnesota with 1:55 left in this game. Ooh, that just makes me feel so much. Oh, Lacy, timeout, Minnesota.
Timeout called by the Vikings now. 2 yards on the carry there. It'll be second down. That'll leave them with just 1 remaining in this 4th quarter of play.
Oh.
So the defense had a chance to catch their breath, and now they're back out and ready.
Yay, now it's just, not really crunch time. Minnesota will be able to call one more timeout. Jeez, taking their sweet time. I mean, Green Bay is going to run the ball again. Just kill time. There goes Lacy's down. Oop. Minnesota's last and final timeout. Green Bay. I'm pretty sure Green Bay will run the ball one more time. And I will say, Minnesota does have a beautiful stadium for one of the newest state-of-the-art stadiums. I mean, it's going to be 10 times better than the Metrodome. I mean, never been to the Metrodome. Obviously, never will be. So, hopefully one day, be able to make a trip out west, Lambeau of the West. But it's nice seeing some of these teams that play in crappy stadiums, seeing new ones. But here we go, 1:46 left in the 4th. Another handoff to Starks, and he is stopped. So Green Bay could take the clock down to about the 1 minute, roughly a minute left, punt it, and Minnesota will have about 50-something seconds to get 8 points to tie.
Big body, strong, agile, playing with great leverage and hands.
So here we go. We got ourselves a game. Unlike last week where in the simulation, New England destroyed Arizona 40-23 and only won by 2 in real life. So here's the punt away high.
And this one will not be returnable.
Oh,
as it sails out of bounds.
At the 22-yard line. I mean, if you're going to kick it out of bounds, kick it through the end zone then. So a minute and 1 second left for these Minnesota Vikings to march down the field. They need a touchdown. If they don't convert on a fourth down, if they turn the ball over, game is over, and my beloved Green Bay Packers are victorious. Not try to show any bias, but you know, it is what it is. And Bradford, he's under pressure. Oh, wide open. And it's going to be hurry up offense. 50 seconds in, counting. He lines up under center and he spikes the ball with 46 seconds left in the game. Minnesota is looking to force overtime. Bradford be like, I got this. I got this. I mean, I'm hoping it doesn't go into overtime. I hate overtime games. Overtime in the NFL is, as long as it doesn't end in a tie. So 2nd and 10, Bradford plenty of time. He's under pressure. He rolls around the pocket, throws it down the field. Oh, no. He finds a wide open receiver. They hurry up to the line. Looks like he's going to spike the ball again. Snap. Oh, no. What the heck was that? That looked like a fumble. That looked like a beautiful, would have been a great Madden glitch. And there would have been nothing I could do. But 26 seconds. Minnesota at Green Bay's 29. 2nd and 10. 3 all wide receivers to the right side. Oh, get him. Oh, he steps out of bounds. Ah, damn. But Green Bay has all 3 timeouts.
They did exactly what they needed him to do. Charles got out of bounds. They have no timeouts.
Oh.
And they knew that before the play even began.
Wait, come on.
How many times have we seen it happen where you
That should be reviewed. He only had 1 foot in bounds when he made the catch. His 2nd foot was out of bounds.
First down and 10 now for the offense.
Jeez, this is ridiculous. But it wouldn't surprise me in all honesty. So 22 seconds. Snap. Bradford, plenty of time. Overthrows. Whew. Now, if this is how the game was going in real life, and I was watching, oh my gosh, if you had camera on me, I'd be standing. 2, my heart would be beating faster than a jackhammer. It'd be just going as fast as a hummingbird's wings. And that's more or less how it was going. Oh, play action. Yeah, like they're going to run the ball. Oh, but like, here we go. 2-point conversion will determine everything. Oh boy.
Not just the guy kicking the ball, but how about the snapper and the holder as well?
Snapper, holder. I want to see him miss an extra point in Madden. This is. I mean, I'm sorry, Madden. If Minnesota ends up winning this game, I'm sorry, you're gonna get wrong. Oh, here we go. Oh, and he's sacked.
He's taken down.
He's sacked. That means they have to attempt an onside kick, recover it, get 1 play off, throw it down the sideline, and try a field goal for the win. Woo! This would be a thrilling game. And where was that sack earlier in the drive? Huh? Come on. So, this is kind of obvious. And like, if they eliminated kickoffs, they wouldn't be able to do this. Then what? Game would be over.
Looking at this situation, you should have time for the onside kick and then at least 1 play.
Yeah, if you recover it. But they don't. Green Bay does.
And that should just about put a cap
That will
on
do
this
it.
one. Well, for a second
Green Bay
there, I
will walk away
flashbacks
with the
to a few
victory.
years ago, the NFC
Now,
Championship game for the Packers, but here they're able to hold on.
And
oh,
many things
don't.
changed in Green Bay after that game. Personnel, people coaching, the whole deal. And in this case, they get it done. No fail like they had in Seattle.
Oh, don't. I don't even want to talk about that game. That was just Russell Wilson and Seattle being themselves and just shit happening and miracle happening. But, oh, audible
Rodgers will take
snap.
a knee here, and that should be all she wrote. It's a loss of a yard there, and now second down.
So, that is a little irony. Madden has predicted the road teams to win. But we'll see. That's the week 2 game of the week. Not sure what I'm going to have for week 3. I'm not sure who's out playing week 3. But I will say it's not going to be Sunday night next week. I'm not doing the Sunday night game next week for sure. The last 2 weeks I have. But this go around for week 3, I already have a game lead. I think Denver and Cincinnati play each other, and that's the game I'm leaning towards. Especially if both teams start the season 2-0. So, final score.
So that'll do it for my partner, Charles
Green Bay
Davis,
25,
and the best darn crew in the
Minnesota
industry. I'm
23.
Brandon Gaudin. This
Right
has
now,
been a
Madden is
presentation
1-1.
of the NFL on EA
We'll find out
Sports.
if Madden can go
From
2-1
Minneapolis.
or
Good night,
1-2.
everybody.
So, that's the game. Green Bay's your winner. Gotta tune in for Sunday night to see if Madden can get it right. So, anyways, thanks for watching. And till next time, see ya.